Hello, my name is David Turner and this is another episode of Lunar Poetry Shorts. This evening I'm at our spoken word evening, Silence Found a Tongue. Well done for not whistling, thank you very much. We're in South London, Waterloo, and I'm joined by editor of Prowl, Lisa Luxx. Hello Lisa.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm good, and as always we're going to start with a poem.
There isn't anything to see here except exceptionally well-dressed wires in beach attire looking like they're meant to be somewhere else. In a travesty of courtroom sittings, old reality is splitting itself in two. And you're jerking off on a circuit board? The stockman shrugs off the circus horde of clucking customers. The phone shop is a zoo. The signals arrest those few but far between thoughts like, we could have been bigger now, but we're shrinking. We spent an eternity growing wide, now we're thinking it's too much. Our forgotten bodies are just surplus and we accept oddities without getting nervous, like a lion upgrade gripping. Its fierce HD teeth nipping, and modernity has you in its clutch. Sacrificed eye contact and human touch to skip cues and read more of the god-awful news. A paranoid meditation squeezes out of my speakers like worms. An attempt to forget the complexity of witnessing privacy nested in its urn. Urn. Is it earnest to say this? Is it useless to pay this any attention? We're not supposed to be tripping, but someday bionic strippers will be existing in a real-life Candy Crush saga. Thighs buzz with expectation. That phantom vibrate's got you impatiently waiting for a call that was never going to come. So you dive into the gung-ho dung holes of the web, chasing the flow in a social ebb. Breakfast time. The grid is flashing. Who's already loosened their lips? Are politicians the adult versions of kids who play battleships? F5. Hit me with your rhythm stick. Soviet polyphonic rhythmic grip gets gripey, but look at how the sick don't get any fitter yet. We're playing with holograms and Siri ain't real and didn't ever live, but the people alive are destined to give up everything they have that makes them human. Confusion between the subject and the master shivers like rattlesnakes in that blast of light we're hooked on. And these mobile bones are playing the Icky Van song, and now a sticky hand is longingly pulling us in. Brain freeze, Mr. Whippy Cocaine, please. A 99er for your name, please, and your passport number, and frame these last moments. Immortality, it's just a word we conjured from the absurd. Darley and Blake's verse gave us a chance to get out of silver apples, but we eaved the sacred fruit, the bite that microchipped our womb, lodged like a seed of Nagasaki's plumes. But we can entertain one another in the sanctity of playtime. With poetry, good rhymes, slogan teas, and just noticing the strength of the breeze. And it will feel good to be human, to touch my lover's breasts and feel the very skin she tripped up and blessed with a crystalline grace. It feels good to be human, to hear the slow jam of big old trees groping at their own leaves as if they're masturbating constantly. And every sigh is both of ecstasy and sweet release. It feels good to be human. Where a nose is a scrapbook your mum kept since you were old enough to know nothing. It feels good to be human, to see light dotting in between rainbows and science class prisms. It feels good to be a human, to taste the wisdom of some lord's natural sound design. Whoosh, bubble, tap, creaking. Unlock the cold chest of anxiety with technological sobriety. And then come back online and let me know how that felt.
Cheers, Lisa. So, why poetry?
Why poetry? I guess it's interesting because I think language is a completely insignificant, not insignificant, sorry, that's the wrong word, inadequate signifier of the human condition. I don't think that we can actually express ourselves most of the time using the language that we do in conversation. So what I find really interesting and fascinating to do is to use language to manipulate it, to arrange it in certain ways, to try and crash through neural pathways in other people's minds, and just for a moment, allow them to peek at what it's like in my human condition and in other people's human condition. And I think it's a fascinating science with which to do that with.
Thank you. I became a little distracted there.
Noticed that. Sorry. Yeah, I noticed that. It's all right. I know I'm riveting. It's all right. I'm interested in what I'm saying. That's all right. Don't worry about it. I've got it covered.
You had the rest of them enthralled there.
Yeah,
of course, this is an audio medium. No one would have ever known that.
No, until you told them. And now you've told them. Now they've got a reason to be distracted because they think, well, if he's distracted,
yeah, what was going on?
She's going to want to be distracted.
What's the man doing?
Yeah,
what was the man doing?
Beyond me. I was concentrating on the task at hand.
What have been your main influences of your writing, or what have been the main influences of your writing and performing?
Writing. When I was about 13 years old, I think an older friend got me a copy of Sylvia Plath's poetry, and I'd been writing for a very long time before that, but that turned me on to seeing who else I could find similarly to that, who was using language in such ways that were evoking feelings in me that she was evoking. From that I went to all the way from Blake through the Surrealists, the Beat Poets, very much so. And as a performer, I guess probably my biggest influence is my spirit animal, Patti Smith.
Oh, sorry, did you want me to say something there?
Oh, I thought there was the nature of it. I can ask the questions if you want.
I'm not used to this. No one's ever looked at me before during a podcast.
I like it.
Sorry, no one's ever said Patti Smith and then looked directly at me. I don't know what to do.
I guess it's kind of freaking me out. You look uncannily like my old housemate. It was like my brother, and it's almost spooky. So
this isn't going to work for other people.
No, they can Google
strangers
you?
At the door and your former housemate. Let's move on.
That's what the internet's for, is it not?
Finding shit out. Googling your former housemates.
Yeah, if they want to. I'm sure they could.
Yeah. I killed that, sorry. Let's have another poem.
Okay. The ghost of my future self was propping up the bar in a beret. She was loud, to say the least. Her martini never ended and a $20 bill was extended at her bow. Melody, who was the drinks maker and taker of rolling bucks, wasn't taking my cash. Wasn't taking her cash. I couldn't spend enough. Tina, who was the me of time not yet crowned, only exchanged her cards when putting cash in Melody's décolletage. I wanted her to know me, but she was busy flying her sounds around the basins of Zamzam's bar on their hate, so I ordered Sailor Jerry's and fatefully entered conversation. She was 57 at midnight, but only the light of youth glowed in her ashtray. Oh, heaven! In these two North Beach spaghetti loops of time, we are yet to meet. But I guess Tina and I have already peaked, she suggested when she explained that she had HIV. I guess smoking from the same pipe maybe wasn't clean, but trick a dreamer into a moment and they'll go balls out the bath for the bait. Believe me. Now her fingers swell from medication and she'll black out on a boozy eve. But she celebrates with prescription dope and a past that like to thieve. We talked about the crack pigeons of Tenderloin. Fifth Avenue junkies bending necks and clucking for their next fix. She'd known it, but only a tiny bit, and by that I mean 5 or so glorious hits. Now these words echoed in my hollow, drunken belly, a cocoon of ecstasy. Bucking heads, I asked for more. Next to me now was the black sand shore that I'd been hiking for, with loose boots that weren't right and an old cell phone for a flashlight. She offered me an easy route, solid steps, but she'd fallen off our wasted butter boat, and if she'd had it, then I'd had it. But hey, I digress. So irises were cooking, veggie oil and fucking hot pans. Perplexed, because she projected everything I was going to be. A Super 8 recording of everything that pleased and scared me. Gawping at this aerial projection in a fuddy-duddy home, as inappropriate wayward words landed like accidents on funny bones. When I blinked, I missed me. I worried I was missing something. In her baby blue living room, she took off her beret and aged 20 years to the day. The clocks danced like butterflies, too wise to tell the truth, and her lip curled up as she danced to a song she swears I'd loved from her youth. Bats flew from the caves within her face. Fear and grace mutilate in this stony haze, moving like a lizard queen. A 70s creamer, telling stories of the bad boys she dated and their dead siblings that we named in reams. Beaming the energy of 57 years collected. My era is rejected. Or so we feel. So we tape magnets to our tits and hope to attract the best bits of the past century we imaginatively miss. Can I change into my pajamas, she asked. That was leggings and a tight blue top. Where in time did that body belong? Her body was both a live instrument of ecstasy and also something that seemed so wrecked to me. It moved like a dandelion blown in spring. But sandy fins, when washed ashore, do glisten until they're gutted forever and evermore.
Thank you, Lisa. And as I introduced you, you are the editor of Prowl.
That's right.
Sell it to them.
Okay, so Prowl is a print publication that celebrates the art of being human in the post-net world. That is kind of asking ourselves, what is it to be human, and also celebrating independent creativity through that, because we believe that one of the arts of being human is to be expressive, is to be mind independent, it's to be badly behaved, because rules were made for us. We weren't made for rules. They don't really fit, So what we're trying to do is just break down all those things that aren't really working in society and just have a really good time while doing it. It's an international publication. It's sold in over 20 different countries. We feature poetry, illustration, essays on things such as the war on consciousness and other kind of social, political things as well.
And how long has it been going for?
It's been it started as a zine called Howl when I was at university, and I'd make it with suede covers and studded spines on it, and just celebrate all of the kind of counterculture creatives who were around me with it, and I'd make out with each copy in like blue lipstick or black lipstick and hand them out to lovely people. But when I started working for the national papers like the Sunday Times and what have you, I certainly started to realise that there was a very big gap in the market for honesty, and I wanted to fill that, and to do that I had to compete with their quality. So I created a magazine that's stellar quality, that's beautiful, the pages, everything.
It in my hands now, listeners, and half shiny.
How does it feel?
It feels like a proper thing, doesn't it?
It's proper, man. It's proper,
it's
yeah.
Really heavy.
So it could sit on those shelves with those glosses, but give our fellow man something of worth to read.
Yeah, and you didn't initially think that way, but with time you came to believe that in order to compete with their ideas, you also had to compete with the physical feel of the magazine
it's the Trojan horse, isn't it? If you want to get your message out there, I can't go out there shouting revolution, 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 because everyone who's turned off by the very idea of people making change aren't going to listen to that. So you make something beautiful that they're going to want to pick up and they're going to want to look at, and then you just put in there some stuff that's going to make them go, oh, what? Like, what's going on around me, actually? I don't really get it.
Poisoning magpies?
No. No, quite opposite. It's like feeding the fishes.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
feeding. Yeah, sorry. I'm always
poisoning.
thinking in terms of poisoning. I'll read later, you'll learn.
Okay.
Why was the decision taken to introduce poetry to the magazine, and has it been there since the start?
Since day dot, yeah. I mean, as a poet and who's also surrounded by poets who are themselves surrounded by poets, it never really crossed my mind to not have poetry in there. More than anything, what we are trying to do is really capture the human experience. In what it is to be human, we have to capture human experience. And now more than ever, people are using them. I don't know more than ever. I don't know if I can make that claim. But now a lot of people are using poetry in which to do that. And so I wanted to make that space available for people.
More than since last Wednesday, perhaps.
More today. Yeah.
Have you had any feedback from readers about the poetry specifically?
Yeah, I mean, actually the poetry goes down really well, and we don't just present it to people in the magazine either. We also had a web series last year, a very small web series last year on our website called Basement Beats, which was spoken word artists as well, and that went down fantastically well. In fact, one of the members of our Prowl gang now, our Prowl community, who's flown over here from Madrid, did so after watching the Basement Beats. So people dig the poetry, man.
Good. And can you tell us a bit about some of the poets you've published, or not about them, but perhaps just their names and why you chose them?
Yeah, I mean, the last issue was the Indigo Kids issue, which is a concept which we don't have time to explain right now. So look it up. But we were looking on that theme, and so what I was looking for mainly, actually, for the last big issue that we did was spoken word, specifically, not poetry. You know, there's a vast difference, and we publish spoken word because it very much is the voice of the people who are standing up and saying, I'm going to do things differently now, and this is how I'm going to do it, and I'm going to talk to you as freely and liberated as I can. So we published people who were coming along to our events like Buster Rhymes, where we took over the top deck of a public bus with poets. People like David Lee Morgan, Jason Pillay, and many other names that you'll know and you can read about when you pick up the magazine. But for the next ones, we're going to be looking at straight poetry for the future edition. And
how can people submit their work to Prowl, or is it invitation only?
It's not invitation only, no. But I really encourage people, if to be a part of Prowl and to be published in Prowl, to just come and be a part of us and what we're doing. It's a community. It's something for you to get involved in and build relationships with. So we host like a lot of hangouts, a lot of parties. We gather creatives in as many ways as possible. So it's just a matter of find out what we're doing, which is pretty easy because it's all on our website, and just or sign up to the mailing list because it's not all on our website actually. Because sometimes just the mailing list get it, and just come in and join us and be a part of it. And if people who are listening are too far away to do that, then yes, you can email me. I just think that if you're in the borough next to me, like come and see me face to face and say hello, man. You know.
Do I have to cross the river?
Oh, come on, man! You got to cross the river. Do it on a bike; it feels good.
Well, maybe I'll think about it. And we were talking just briefly before that Prowl isn't only a physical magazine. It's not just a paper-bound object. So
yeah.
Maybe you could just describe a bit.
Well, that's right. I mean, what we also do is, as I've mentioned, we've got the website and we generate video content for that, all of which supports independent creatives within the community. And we have a clothing line as well, the last one of which was all to break down sexual taboos as they were. So we had the Happy Fanny t-shirt, for example, and and other such wonderful garments which sold out and did really well. You wouldn't be surprised to know.
Yeah, we're sort of running through the... Well, it's not tape, is it? We're not that old-fashioned, but I wish it was tape. It's my iPad's telling me we're running out of time.
Okay.
So we'll take a final poem, please.
Final poem? Absolutely, sure. So, I'm standing on the side of a ring road at Manchester Airport. Forever riff-raff, loitering, just to linger. The freewheeling troubadour's weed and Moroccan hash are burning like incense at my forefinger. It's early and ugly, and the cab driver already asked to fuck me. A chariot of carnal shadows riding like a wizard at some creepy village fair. Anyway, so I'm lenting these Citizen of Humanity jeans against these bird-splattered railings, letting the magic lab of my lungs release a cosmic spectrum of air. And while one cupped hand hovers at a tricky lighter, I see a 4-leaf clover. It's right by my DM Paisley foot, and man, it is stood bolder than any of the 3-leaf clovers. It's like a token from the other side of our sideless entity. Years of childhood summers, 2-foot jumping from memory boxes in my head, and so I pluck her from the ground. Because she's a light, like zinging zingers in the anti-space of righteous meds. I am where you aren't, and where we've been before. Around fire hydrants and drip metal jewelry stores. And though my feet are like lemon slices in fizzy pop, sliding along peaked rooftops, still I grab her. My dharmic, darling four-leaf clover. And like a lion raised to the sun, I'm walking down these endless airport corridors where they check I'm just one person, because one person doesn't make a war. Well, my dear Heathrow brothers, I'm a million vibrations of light. I brought myself this clover through the sophisticated machinery of my inner eye. I passed over myriad meadows as trumpets blew me over pan au chocolat and psychedelic pies, a dizzy cannabinoid kitten parading through the prisms of sight. From a place somewhere unknown, that kid I was continued to rifle through stupid three-leafers, squealing with delight when 10 years later she handed it to me, and I was just mixing last-minute reefers. Good luck. Good luck, 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 good luck. If we say it enough, we'll generate good luck. And we'll fly well on British Airways and the private jets of our imaginations because we treated ourselves to luck. Tokens that make a moment burst through the seams of heavenly day and wrap around us silently every which way. So I'm sharing my token of luck with you, because if you believe it, well then you'll pass through security and get into Island 2.
Well, that's it. But before we go, a chance to mention any websites or blogs or anything.
Absolutely, yeah. So if people dig the sound of Prowl, then come on over to prowlhouse.com. Sign yourself up to the mailing list. We don't pass on your details to the man, and we share kind of information where we have kind of quite private gatherings and what have you on there. So if you want to be a part of it, then do that. Also, if you don't like Prowl but you kind of like me, you can go to lisaluxx.com and you can check out what I'm doing on there as well.
Yeah, and those links will be in the description of the video. Thank you, Lisa, very much.
Thank you for having me.
Very much. Thank you, Simon, for the time.
Thank you.